Hello. I need to fix my little camera there a little bit. Hello. Welcome to an impromptu session. Jeremy.
Welcome.
There you go. Wow. I don't. I didn't see that coming. I mean, I saw that coming, but I didn't see that kind of value coming and that amount of stuff coming.
Pretty
awesome. Pretty awesome. So, what we alluded to in the description of this live stream is we wanted to chat about first impressions of the new Mantic Vault that they just rolled out. We hopefully, like you, we watched some videos or watched the video that just released at 1 p.m. CST from the guys over at Mantic. And hey, it was nice to see Clive on camera for the first time ever. I don't think I've ever seen Clive. So that was interesting. And the other gentleman that was new was Dan, who was the intro, the resin stuff. So I figured what we would do is maybe just kind of walk through the video and just give our commentary of what we think. And then and at the end, I've already signed up for Mantic Vault. Let's take a look at these kick-ass models that they're delivering. I'm like, this is a high point, dude. This is like, okay, this is a game changer, Jeremy. I mean,
yeah, I think it's speaking to, again, we all have like the things we love about Mantic and the things we're frustrated about with them sometimes. But the one thing you can't deny is they listen to what their customers want. And they've been asking for 3D printing. I was in the hot tub with Scott Holcomb and Ronnie Renton like a year and a half ago when Scott was pleading with Ronnie to do STL 3D printing files. And Bob, here's your uncle. Here we are. You know, it's now a reality. So
and I'm right with Perrin. Like as soon as like they announced the price, and obviously we'll get to all that stuff towards the end. But here's the thing: if you're already signed up for Companion, that coupled with the fact there's an early bird, it's stupid. Like it's a stupid good value. Just do it and try it. If it doesn't, 3 months from now, you're like, I don't feel the value. Cool,
right?
But give it a shot.
What is it?
$3.99 in pounds per month.
£3.99. Hey,
yeah, okay,
Rob. I don't own a 3D printer, and I'm signing up because
I don't either.
Eventually,
I don't either.
Like,
I'm just like, bring it on, right?
Yeah.
Bring it on. All right. Well, let's have some order because this is a counter charge. This isn't like other podcasts that just ramble. We do have notes. So a couple things. First off, it was good to see some new people. Like I mentioned, Clive and Dan had never seen them and didn't even know. I mean, I knew Clive, seen Clive post on Facebook and stuff, but Dan seems like a newer guy. So what'd you think of the resin tour? I thought that was pretty interesting.
I think it's always interesting to me to see, like, I guess in my mind, I had imagined, we lose track sometimes about like company size, and it is a smaller company. Like you go into their Mantic, I was thinking of like the resin room is like at the end of Indiana Jones when they pull back and it's like the giant like warehouse with all the stuff. But it's cool to actually see the process. And also too, I think you see in that little video, Rob, how long it takes them to do resin. So again, another
100%.
reason why they're wanting to get into 3D printing, because doing resin is, you wonder why does this resin cost so much? You got a little window into that. Look at how many people and how much time is involved with getting that resin done.
Yeah, I do want to, if you do have a question, pop it in. We'll do our best. This first question has to do with how they're going to keep the library. Clive said that once you subscribe and you're in it that month and you get that pack, it's yours forever, even if you don't subscribe in the future. And he did say if you miss a pack because you subscribed later, you could go back. It sounds very much like the Patreon model that a lot of people, I mean, I know our good friend Daniel Bryan, this is probably like one more Patreon type service. I'm sure he's got like 50 of them. Same thing with our other buddy Param. I'm sure they've got like 10 of these at least a month. So, yeah. And Daniel, Hellstrikers are great, but I literally bought everything for the halflings except for the aeronauts. And you know what's in the STL files? Aeronauts. And I'm like, and we should make this clear. We have no knowledge other than what was shown. Like we didn't get any like, hey guys, look at this early. No, this is we're going by what was shown in the video.
I've been talking about my high Middle Ages French halflings that would be filled with juggers, and like, look what's there.
Exactly. It's funny. It's almost like they listen to what the community asks for.
And this is what this shows me when you think about like overarching narratives, or you look at the umbrella of something like this. I think again, it's showing a company that is listening to its product base, It's, give us time. We're going to learn. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to grow. Obstacles are pathway to mastery. Well, I saw some hot, juicy mastery today, my friend.
Yeah, but I will say, Ronnie still did his normal thing of like missing a few things up.
I love the part when the guy's describing 3D printing and Ronnie's just like, okay, and then he just takes his hand and puts it over his head. Like Ronnie is first to admit he knows nothing about what 3D printing means, is or does or whatever, but he wants you to have fun playing their games. So
absolutely. Well, let's dive in a little bit. Obviously, they started with the resin tour, which I thought was really interesting. I actually did get a resin model sculpted and cast, so a little bit interesting to see that, right? The behind the scenes. What was really interesting to me was the way that the molds were kind of like a big block and how they kind of cut. They had like cuts and they were able to like take each sprue out. I thought that was really interesting.
It's like the molds were malleable. They can move them apart to pull out.
The biggest question though that comes up for me though, when are we getting this model in resin? This is the Mantic exclusive Major Chad. I have it in metal. I don't want it in metal.
Well,
I want it in resin.
Showing us, right?
And that was the guy that was being held up to show us. So
he's such a Chad.
So when are we getting this model, guys? That's the question. And it's got what I liked about this model too is it's got a couple different heads that it comes with. So anyways, the tour was awesome. It was nice. It kind of complements nicely with the tour of the facility in Poland where they showed where the ogres are being made.
Yes.
So anyways, let's just get to the big stuff, right? So obviously Mantic Vault was unveiled today. Hey, we got a lot of we got a lot of good people. Hopefully this time is, I know it's 2:00 CST, but I mean, that's like late dinner time, I guess. What is that, like 8:00 in the UK maybe? And what's it, 10
in the civilized world, it's in the evening.
Right. But so they did obviously talk a little bit about Mantic, a lot about Mantic, the Mantic Vault. It is an STL subscription service. It's exactly what we thought. It's kind of coupled with the companion. I mean, the best thing I liked about it, no new like account. It's all the same. I have one Mantic account for the Mantic store, Mantic Companion, and now the Mantic Vault. So I like that they're just adding on extra options here.
Yes,
we appreciate everybody that's here. And Central US time, the only real time. Well, I would agree with that, but I've lived in everywhere but mountain. So, and by the way, those of you that are showing up as Facebook user, you got to give StreamYard access. StreamYard lately Facebook has not been playing well with StreamYard lately. Just a FYI behind the scenes. So, anyways, so let's get to it. Let's talk about.
Hey, Clive.
Clive, it was nice to see you put a face to the name that we see on Facebook all the time. Well, don't worry. You're jumping ahead, Parent. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. So we talked. They talked about the subscription service, which is I think what everybody thought. And we had Ronnie on the show. Was it a month ago? Right after Adepticon. By the way, I'm rocking my Piece of Jesus shirt. I don't know about you, Jeremy. Well, you don't have a camera on, but Piece of Jesus shirts are still available. We don't make any money. Nobody makes any money on it. It just goes to a charity to helps homeless cats up in West Virginia. So.
And I guarantee you, if Jesse was with us today, he'd be talking about Mantic 3D printing guy and how he is the star employee of this month. His Mantic rundown of employees.
The best part is this is Andy, our new store manager, and he literally just had aeronauts printed because he'd like, I don't want to fiddly with those other models. And now that they're available, it's like, well, are you going to have them reprinted with the real thing now, Andy? Because,
I think the answer to that question is yes.
Of course. He's just some Facebook user, so obviously that's got to be Donnie, right? So, anyways, so let's get into some of the details. We did know Johnny. So first of all, even if you don't want to get a subscription, sign up for, make sure you got an account, like the free account. Go in there. I think there's a link that you can actually get to a boat. You get a what is it? I've got it written down here. Basilanger, Panther, and an Oryx Blood Runner. 2 free models. Period. Just go and get them. If you just want to check out the detail, right? Check it out. I mean, if I recall correctly, those models were probably sculpted digitally anyways. So it's not like they had to recreate it. I mean, they already had the files.
Yeah, so, that will be interesting down the road to maybe we'll do a show down the road, Rob, with their process for the things that maybe wasn't digitally, an STL file. Like, how do they go and recreating that maybe down the road? Inside baseball and how they do that might be interesting.
Yeah. So the other thing I mentioned, your Mantic companion login will work. I did it. I signed up. It worked, no problem. I don't like Stripe. I like PayPal, but that's neither here nor there. Turns out it's, I think some people were like, oh, it's just going to be old models. Yeah, but they did hint on there's going to be some new stuff too, right?
You're showing up as the mystery enigma that you are, Mr. Annis.
The Spy Master. Yeah, the Spy Master. So, they mentioned there's going to be some pieces that maybe they produced it. They made the model, but maybe it didn't make the tool. Maybe it didn't make sense economically to actually put it into production. So there's going to be some stuff that might show up.
You remember when during Vanguard, right, where there's all this talk about alternate sculpts, right, of that original, like the base alien trademark or any of that stuff from that. They're like, oh, we're going to do, snow trolls or whatever. Dude, I used to be like, oh, well, maybe they'll do after today, it's like, I think my loftiest dreams are being fulfilled. So, I mean, I think we're going to have a lot of cool stuff coming.
100%. So when you subscribe, you're going to get a welcome pack, which and as Clive described it, it's, there's going to be a selection of models there. And over time, every month, there's going to be a few more models added to that welcome pack. So if you subscribe 3 months from now, there's going to, the value will still be there. It's not like you missed out on anything in the welcome pack. And I also like the fact that he mentioned that let's say you decided to subscribe in month 3, but you wanted the pack from month 1, there's going to be a way to go back and get that. So I thought that was really cool. And let's talk about month 1. In fact, let's
look at it.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen here. Here we go. So this is, Basilan and Ort Fleets Part 1, because obviously that's not all the ships, right? And then a Storm in the Shire. What was really funny is I'm like, why the hell do they have the Storm in the Shire's box on the table and a Halflings battle group? Makes total sense now, because they were showcasing the fact that this is what was going to be this month's release was going to be supplementing that. So if you look at what's here, obviously you got the Armada boats, which, those are a little bit long in the tooth in the sense that they came out a while ago, right? But the rest of this stuff is all stuff I've been clamoring for. And let me be honest, it's not that I don't like these boats. I just have them already, right? But look at all the upgrade bits. Look at all the upgrade bits. And then here's a terrain pack for Armada. And then this was the one. I expected this, and I expected this. What I did not expect was this and this. Literally, like, within the last month, we've had, posts complaining about some of the cost of resin. And I get it. Resin's expensive. I get it. And I know the Hellstrikers have come up as, oh, these are terrible. Well, don't have to pay the resin price then. Buy a resin printer, and there you go. And what's really funny, Jeremy, is my local store, I bought a bunch of halflings.
Yeah.
Not because I needed it, but my stock was getting a little low. So I was like, all right.
Rob shop, your storage facility.
This is a great. Somebody commented about, hey, do Ghost or Pirate Fleet. But if you took these models and printed them in clear resin, maybe gave them like a green wash.
Oh, dude, that'd be dope.
Oh, it'd be so amazing. And in fact,
great idea.
Billy Smith, my local resin dealer, has been using a lot of green clear resin, and I'm thinking, ooh, what about that?
Oh, is Billy been doing a lot of printing?
Oh, he's nuts. He's nuts.
Oh, okay, Billy, I need a resin dealer, so I will be contacting you, my friend.
Yeah. He's a nut job. So, what's funny is I bought a bunch of halflings, and obviously I didn't buy into the upgrade packs yet because I was like, I know there's this Mantic Vault, so I kind of expected this. Great timing. Mm-hmm. But I bought a bunch of El Grenadiers, but I didn't buy any aeronauts because they didn't have any.
Yeah.
And then look what's here. I'm like,
I'm coming for you, Billy.
Well, what's amazing is, you have files like this. If you're,
there is no escape. You got to give me what I need.
But, I have been messing with modifying. Oh, and our good friend Alan Blunt, he does it as well. So, Alan, long time player. Gosh, Alan, you need to come to one of our events.
I
Gotta
don't think
get you.
I've met Alan.
You never been Alan? Oh my god.
No, I don't
Well,
think so.
you know what? You would know because if you've been anywhere within 20 feet of Alan,
Yeah.
you've heard Alan.
Okay.
He is the most boisterous player on the
Awesome.
planet. Awesome. But yeah, I'm super pumped about what they showed. It's fantastic, right? And then they did mention going forward, we should expect, and don't quote me on this. I took notes, but I'm not a transcription service. But they'll probably get 3 to 4 other fleets over the next 6 months. And they did mention Empire, Dust, and Dwarves maybe next. And I think what else I liked about it was the plan is to include different games every month. And so it may not be Kings of War and Armada every single month. Maybe one month it doesn't have Kings of War. Maybe one month that has Dead Zone. I think it's going to be cool for those of us that, or many of the players that let's be honest, most people play more than one game system. And so to be able to get value by having just a little shot in the arm in any of those game systems, I think it's going to be cool.
It's anyone who lives within the Mantic ecosystem of games, right? This is going to be for you. So no matter what you're playing.
You know what else I was going to say, though? If you don't want to be like a long-term subscriber, check in what's available that month or past months and just pick and choose. That's fine. Right? Yeah, I should probably do that, right? Where's the welcome pack? Is it packs? Where is the welcome? Okay, so here's the welcome pack. It's a good. What the hell?
Let's look at this.
Holy! That's the freaking Storm Giant. Remember the one that was like, this is so ridiculous. I have like 4 giant models in my store downstairs in the garage. And I'm just going to have some of these printed, and now Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, and I think that dice thing was from the Vanguard Kickstarter.
Nope.
Was
this
it? Not
right
from
here this is the re-release of 3.0. When 3.0 came out, this was part of like the collector's edition.
Oh, yes. I knew that I had that from some special thing, but I couldn't remember.
Is this part of the Kickstarter, right? For the trees?
I have no idea what that is. That Goblin Sniper does look dope, though.
Oh, okay. So let's just take a little segue. Let me just turn this off for just a second. I have been painting like a madman. These aren't going to come out good at all, but I have painted a crap ton of Goblin Luggets for my new Goblin army. And so if I can find a way to put a sniper, he's getting converted. I don't know. Yeah. So Param does the math.
He's our resin printer in the field.
Exactly. But the coolest thing is I'm using, I don't know what these things are called in the Ratkin list, but they're their war engines. They're like a little, it almost looks like a bug sprayer.
Okay.
And so I'm using these as trombones.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Anyways.
And I got to say something real quick because I know Param is a good example. He's like a big 3D printer guy. And my fear was once the 3D printing Mantic got into that space, all the people who did 3D print would be like, but they'd find some other thing to get like categorically upset about.
Well, if that was the case, that means that they were really pissed about not having STL files.
Something else,
really,
right?
Yeah.
It was they don't like something else, but they'd always kind of hide behind this. Well, Mantic's got to go. But it's so great to see Param, who I know is such a 3D printer guy, being like, I'm going to support Mantic. I'm printing this stuff. I'm good to go, because it is really great.
Oh, man, look at this. So this is not a terrain crate piece. This is just an unreleased monster. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is awesome. Dude, Clive, I'm beyond the moon here. This is great stuff. So that's kind of what's in the pack. Let's talk about cost. He did mention that I think the long-term non-early bird special is going to be £10 a month for non-companion subscribers, $7.99, so $9.99 non-companion subscribers per month. But there's an early bird price of $7.99 for non-companion subscribers. So I don't know how long that lasts, but jump on it. But here's the thing: I just went and subscribed, and I am full disclosure, I am a Mantic companion.
This was funny. This was on Kat Royer's Facebook message just briefly. I just thought this is just everyone around the community is getting really psyched for this.
Yeah, exactly. I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check it out. But what's interesting is, where was I at here? Oh, I only paid it was $3.99 a pound, £3.99 per month, because I already had a subscription, and that's the early bird price. So I mean, look, if in like 3 or 4 months, if I don't find value, great, but I'm not out much. This is not a consequential amount of money, right?
Yeah.
I spend more on a cup of coffee than I do on this. So yeah.
And it's always like that. For the price of a cup of coffee, you can support.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah, it's interesting. But you know, to be fair, there's always gonna be naysayers. Oh, I wish. Look, I get it. But show me another company of Mantic size that's doing this, right?
So
that has employees, that is supporting the. You know, I'm a big fan of OPR, or one page rules. That's fine, but they're not in the stores selling their product. They're not. It's not their traditional business model. So I really appreciate it. Yeah, and you bring up a good point. We appreciate you doing it, and I'm glad when other people do it. So War Games Atlantic also has some, right? I can't buy War Games Atlantic in my store because they don't stock it, but I do know that they do sell those models in stores. But yeah, so there's not a lot of companies though, right, that are doing this. So it'll be interesting over the time just to see how it develops.
Yeah, let's go back and look at the month one. I want to take another look at what we're going to be getting.
Yeah, and just they did have some pictures of what the boats look like painted, right?
Mm-hmm.
I still can't believe those are there. And this is the best part because like I said, I didn't buy any of those yet, so I'm super excited about that. So yeah.
So it's looking like you're getting the stalwart infantry with the double-handed weapons options. That's what
that's probably down the bottom right-hand corner.
Well, I think that is for.
Oh wait, these are the Riftward Orc ones.
I think those are the for the Hellstriker riders.
No, these are Riftforge guys.
Are just another option.
Look, you got two-handed weapons and double-handed weapons, and then here are your stalwarts, right?
Yeah,
double-handed swords with the heavy armored helmets, and then you got the bow options. And then you've got I don't know what those are called. Juggers.
And then those might be the wild runners. I don't know what kit are those like the guys who McSweeney's duders?
Oh, I don't know. Don't they have archers in the list?
I think so.
Yeah.
And then you know what you can do too, Rob? A lot of 3D printers scale up, so maybe you think your aeronauts aren't big enough, and you
that's what right? Yeah, make them bigger. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Super excited about this. This is going to be, this is good stuff. I am excited. They also did touch on. Obviously, it wasn't all Vault talk. There was some stuff about. What was this out here? There was some other stuff about. The Sea of Dreads book, which is coming up, which is going to have like interactive terrain, like volcanoes. It's going to have the pirate and the ghost fleet, which now that they have STL files, sign me up. I'm not going to paint them. I'm just going to print them in clear resin, give them a wash, done. But you know, one of the things that we probably need to bring up the most is let's see here it says. For sure, right? Like you look at some of these things here, right? There's no reason why it's like a Hellstriker. Clive's already done it probably. You could totally make little characters and stuff for Armada if you wanted to, or dioramas, right? There you go. Yeah, for poachers. Yeah, because I guess maybe the quantity of bows is not enough to make all.
Oh, yeah, because the other ones probably come with just the rifles, maybe. So the bow option might be one of those. Diet Coke version of Glade Stalkers. Okay, Felix, that makes sense to me. Thank you for that apt
putting it in a metaphor that Jeremy understands.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate your literary device work.
What did people think about the Abyssal Dwarves?
Yeah, let's take a look at those.
See if I've got that ability here. Let me see if I can just. I don't think they share it. Let me just bring up the YouTube video here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's super cool. So what did you think about the pricing though? Did you have any issues with it? Or
no, it makes sense. I mean, I think the companion by itself is such a great value that even if you don't use it all the time, I think it's really good. And the fact that if you get in early, you're getting it on £3.99. If I make sure my European listeners can say if I said that correctly. that is like a great value. I mean, you marry that with the companion, and I mean, to me, that's not that much money a month with. And the fact that what I love about this, Rob, is you're paying for a service or something that it's not just what you're getting now, it's going to have stuff added to it all the time. So if it's the value is only going to go up, that's how I feel about the companion, right? The companion's getting functionality and stuff added to it all the time. So to me, it's not only are you paying for what you have now, but you're locking yourself in on a price for something that's only going to get better.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm having trouble trying to get this stupid thing to show up. So I will keep working on it. But we will. Yeah, they did post concept art for the different Abyssal Dwarf fleet, which I assume they did mention that it was going to come out as. I mean, it'll come out as a resin kit, obviously, and then at some point in the future, I think they'll. I don't know though. Here's a question for you: Who in the audience thinks they're going to do simultaneous? My guess is that they'll release something new, like this, like a fleet for Abyssal Dwarves, and then give it a few months, let people that want to buy it in resin buy it, and then I think they bring out the STL files a little bit later.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, because that would be an interesting thing. Because I think the people who are going to print it are going to print it no matter what, right? So I think releasing them at the same time, I actually don't think would mess too much with the initial sales. I mean, I don't know, but I would think that the people who are going to want to buy it are going to want to buy it no matter what, and the people who are going to want to print it are going to want to print it no matter what. Unless I guess you're paying someone to print it for you. So maybe they come out a thing is released, and then on the following month it's in the vault. I think coming up, I don't know what you think, Rob, but I think coming up with some sort of like, this is what we do. A thing is released, and then you expect to see it on the vault X amount of days in the future. Maybe they, as they go, they come up with some sort of schedule so we know what to anticipate.
Yeah. So I did my best. I did get a screen cap, so you can kind of see it a little bit, but these just look crazy. I love this paddle wheel over here. This just looks insane to me.
I love how the Anchor class has just like the mortar, has just like one giant mortar.
It's amazing. Yeah, this guy down here.
Yeah, that's
super cool. This is what, and where did it go? Yeah, so Felix alluded to that we did see it at Mantic Open Night. So I am super, super excited about that. I think that's going to be super cool. Maybe it's a good comment. Yeah, I mean, maybe people would want to pay a little bit more to get access to some of the newer stuff early. I'm overwhelmed by it, right? I mean, it's like, oh my god, like because I don't know. Sometimes when you're on the different Facebook groups, it's like, oh my god, this argument again or this criticism. It's like it's going to be interesting. I mean, maybe that's the question to you guys out there. What do you guys think the response is going to be with the community? Do you think it's going to be appreciated, or do you think it's going to be like, as what Jeremy said earlier? Oh well, it's not really. They should have. I mean, look, everybody's an armchair quarterback, myself included, right? So,
I mean, I think will be hard pressed for someone, in my opinion, to find something to bitch about. Because to me, it's like I was expecting a little bit of boats, a little bit of this over time, but to have all of this available right off the bat, to me. Mark, you're just go back down into your basement with your 500-point armies, and you'll be fine.
Nothing to see here, Mark. Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. So I mean, I think it's a great idea. It's them getting in line with with a more modern feel about how miniature companies are doing things. It increases the ability to get models. It also, like some people have mentioned in the chat, Rob, maybe they want to design something so creative that they know that they won't ever make and release it to the vault. Special characters or special event. Like we're running, we're going to run a nationwide campaign this summer. In the vault, there's now the special character that you can print out and use in your games or whatever.
Yeah, you just said something that just struck me too. That, I mean, this opens them up to be able to make models that they can't actually physically make, right? Because when you have undercuts and stuff, that makes molding difficult. So there's a limit on what you can actually do. And
maybe you want to do like an alternate
something.
Yeah, an alternate sculpt for big monsters as like a special monster mash, whatever. Here's the Infernox or the whatever the Abyssal Dwarf giant thing. But slightly different, or here's a Cronius but with different arm. I think it's just it is a platform that instead of being confining, it has no barriers. They can really take this anywhere they want to take it. So I'm pretty impressed.
Oh, me too. Yeah, I'm. This is really great stuff.
What do you think of the Warhol? They did do it. They did show a demo.
Yeah, I've played with a little bit. I'll be honest with you. I don't. Video games are not really my thing. I mean, video games are fine, but like I don't really want to play a tabletop. I mean, the reason why I play tabletop games is so I can play with another person, a human being.
Yeah.
So I don't really. I'm not. I've never used Universal Battle tabletops. I mean, I did try Tabletop Simulator, and it was fine. It's really not for me in the sense that I didn't get the human experience that I was looking for. So
I will say,
to be fair, I'm a model guy, right? I'm all about the hobby. Yeah. So like not making models is not really my pursuit in life.
I will say, living in somewhat of a desert, not like I live in a beautiful whatever, but there's not a lot of people who play Mantic games where I live. So having access to Universal Battle and TTS, which I've used for Firefight, to me has been amazing. So I'm psyched to see Warhol and that it is an option to play Armada, since you can't. So I think for some players who don't have
yeah. I know Daniel's going to have, probably by the time Friday rolls around, Daniel's going to have a full two Armada fleets printed and probably have a good start on like 4 or 5 units of Hellstrikers. That guy's got like a lab of just printers, and they're just running. It's crazy because he's got the equivalent of like a venting system that like a meth lab would use.
He's making some of that blue crystal persuasion.
Exactly. I was like,
say my name. Yeah. You know my name.
Yeah.
Some Heisenberg action.
Yeah, I'm right with Paramount. I mean, if that's all you could do, sure, then I guess UB or TTS would be a substitute.
But the best is, as you said, Rob.
Well, and we should mention, I'm not poo-pooing and not. If you like to play that, Armada seems like the perfect game to do it with, because it's only in 2D, right? Like, I mean, it's like
probably
X-Wing,
fits
right?
fits the medium of that.
And they did mention that they're dropping Dwarf Fleet tomorrow, soon, and then they said another fleet was dropping by the end of the month. So that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, this is just great news. It'll be interesting to see, though, what the community thinks about it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we did hear a lot in the beginning, right? And again, I say this is that we're first to critique when we feel critiques are warranted, but there's a lot of people bitching and complaining about the companion, and I think the companion's way worth for its. I mean, play in a tournament and need to look up a rule and search through the companion. I mean, the companion is amazing. So people were upset about having to pay for that. So who knows? But there'll probably be some people who are frustrated.
Well, I'm looking at the Facebook post, and somebody's like, "I wish there was a model-to-model plan." Bro, it's $3.99. Like, I literally have paid way more than that for one piece of terrain or one model. So
our one STL file.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Jeremy, this is what I'm saying.
This is what you're saying.
So this is what I'm saying.
Yeah. To have nice things in life, you got to pay for them, because
Mantic did say, though, watch this space. So that probably means they're not. Look, you can say what you want about Mantic. The one thing they do always is, besides making great models, is they do listen to the customers. I mean, let's be honest. I have a rant that's coming up on an Ambush episode that's going to hit Sunday, where I was just complaining, like,
ooh,
we as a community, there's been many of us that have been bitching about PVC. I'm going to give you the highlights here.
Okay.
We bitched about PVC. So they said, fine, we don't want to do PVC anyways. It's made in China. It's hard to get. We're going to eliminate it. We're going to go to either hard plastic or maybe STL files, or we'll go to resin, but we'll try to eliminate it. And so there was a whole thread on Fanatics about the cost of Phantoms. You can't win. Like, either, I mean, hopefully maybe they'll put Phantoms up on here, but like the reality is that, yes, I could have gotten a box of 7 shitty PVC models. I hate PVC, right? And 3 resin models for X amount of dollars, or I can get 6 resin copies, right? 2 of each, 3 copies or 3 designs, 2 each. And it's just like, it just drives me crazy when people bitch about stuff like that. It's like, it's either or, guys. Either you like the PVC or you don't. And you know, and obviously with resin, there's a cost associated with it. And this, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it a lot, Rob, where for many of us, our first love and our primary hobby is miniature wargaming. And then for some people, their second favorite hobby is being categorically upset about miniature wargaming.
Yeah.
So it's like,
well, you know, I'm almost 50 years old, and at this point in my life, I don't have money that many years left that I can waste my time.
That Rob,
right?
this is what I'm saying. Like, I was sitting there last night trying to think about what are the next few armies I want to do, literally because it was like, what do I, you know, I'm going to be 50.
Halflings, bro.
So it's like, what actual amount of life do I have left to live? To paint
you know, Billy, this is a shout out to Billy if he's listening. I'm going to need some Hellstrikers at some point. Yeah, and probably some Aeronauts too. But before we get to that, I probably need some Ghost Fleets. I don't know, man. This is awesome.
And
now,
this is month 1, Rob.
This is month 1. Well,
so
and don't forget, Monday is it the 15th is on Monday, right? Yeah. So Monday, I have a very large order of Night Stalkers coming to the shop. You know, so I've got a new Void Lurker.
Did you get?
Oh yeah, the new Void Lurker is amazing. Right, I got a bunch of the new Butchers, a bunch of the new Reapers. By the way, we Mantic Open Night, they said, "Oh, we're gonna call them Leapers." It's like, it's dumb. They're calling them Tormentors now. I think that's amazing. That's a great name. And then they got Butchers, and then the shooting option is going to be Ravaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Billy. Come on, you got to upgrade here, bro. Upgrade. Come on. But yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah. Like, I don't even own a printer, and I have no desire to own a printer.
You know what?
I'm gonna have resin models. Go ahead.
I saw a picture of Billy and his son the other day, and I was thinking, like, in Dune, they have like the prophecy where they're trying to breed like the ultimate leader or whatever. And I was looking at Billy's son, and I was like, that kid, if he ever gets into hobby, is going to be like the hobby chosen one. Can you imagine growing up in a household doing that much hobby? And it's like, as a little kid, your second toy is like a 3D resin printing your Lego blocks or whatever, man. I just think it's so awesome what we have. I mean, remember when we were kids and it was like just to find a store that had models was like all Sunday you're taking your mom to try to drive you around to game stores to buy a model. And now it's like, look what we have at our fingertips.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I'm just looking through the Fanatics post, and it's as expected. There's the same shitheads with the same criticism that they always, here's the reality. They're not happy in life. So find something else, dude. Like anything. Go anywhere else. Just drives me crazy. I mean, like, it's like that old Adam, right? Old adage, you can't please everybody. And that's true. But like there's some people that are impossible to please.
That's like that. No matter what you would do, they would get upset because getting upset for them is the thing.
Yeah.
That is the hobby.
The newest one that cracks me up is there's this this recurring theme that's on a couple posts that somewhere Mantic promised that we would not have any rules updates for 2 years. Look, I feel like I'm pretty plugged into the system. I mean, I talk to people. I listen to everything. And I got the opposite message. We're getting a new Twilight Kin army in 2023 at some point. We got I heard we had STL files on nowhere did I get the vibe that they were going to sit pat for 2 years. So I don't know.
And look at what they did.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if anybody can point to me a blog where they legitimately said, I mean, the only thing I can think of is, did somebody say, like, we're not going to reprint the book for 2 years? Yeah, baby. That doesn't mean the rules are going to stay unchanged. Because let's be honest, they printed the 3rd edition book and then they printed 3.5. In between then, did they reprint the book? Maybe. So anyways, rant off.
Well, and the whole point of the companion, and we've seen it with Firefight, right, of releasing the open beta rules, is they have an access to get you updates. And the whole point of the updates, granted, of course, they want to make new models and sell you those models, but it's always through the lens of how do we make these awesome, cool new models fun and balanced in the game. It's still towards the end result of trying to give you, the customer, a better, more balanced, more fun to play version of the game. So why is me as a customer going to be like, oh, stop it. Don't give me any more new cool rules or no cool models for another year and a half because I spent like $25 or $30, which is a cost of a movie and popcorn. The freaking
dude, I took my daughter and her 2 friends to see Guardians. By the way, awesome. It was like 100 and I want to tell you how much it cost. It was an extraordinary amount. That was a consequential cost. The cost of a rule book, or the cost of this monthly subscription, not consequential.
Or talk to me about like you don't like the model design for. I mean, there's like I said,
There's legitimate reasons why you wouldn't like something. Yeah,
there's areas for us to provide thoughtful, solution-driven critiques about things, but just to be like, hashtag bad is bad. It's just like, life's too short, and it's just like.
It's funny at work. I have a rule that you can't give me bad news unless you got a solution to fix it. Like they were like, unless you can tell me how you're gonna fix it, I don't want to hear about it. Like, go back and figure it out, and then give me a workable solution.
Yeah. And you just can't be risk adverse in life. You have to be willing to try new things and make mistakes and fail. There's such a big thing. People are so afraid to fail, or they don't like companies that fail or whatever. But in the end, that's how you're going to learn. That's how you're going to get better. And to me, like, again, I say it, this to me is not only inherits like intrinsically a cool program, but to me, this is a flat out, we've heard what you guys have wanted. We're now putting it into effect.
Yeah. So a couple other things. I know we're about 20 minutes out from when we were planned to shut down, but we are going to be recording. Well, at this point, if you've listened, we had a bunch of Adepticon content that has come out. Another episode came out today, which I really highly recommend you listen to. It's really great. It's a few different guys from the community that were just buzzing around the table, and I'm like, let's get them in a room. Let's sit down for an hour and just talk. And there's a lot of great subjects. It's Eric Trowbridge, Corey Reynolds, John Green Jr., and our famous Spy Master Tom Ennis. So give that a listen. I think you'll enjoy it. We have an ambush episode that's recorded that we recorded with. It's crazy. It's crazy, Jeremy. Ambush is so exciting. We got a player to come on the episode and talk all about it who hasn't played a game yet. Like, literally, like, he's just being carried by the enthusiasm of the community and the rule set and all the great stuff that's, yeah. So it's going to be a good one. And then we've got a bunch of episodes that are going to be recorded. Jeremy and I are going to record what do we call this? Fireside chats, or just
unabashedly stolen from Jake Hutton and Unplugged Radio. We will be doing a Rob and Jeremy fireside chat episode on Friday. We'll be talking about.
Well, but Jeremy, he doesn't matter because he doesn't play Kings of War anymore.
Well, that's why I guess I could just not even give him credit for stealing his idea, because he's not around. And I have heard that he is playing Kings of War. He's just not recording or writing. But yeah, we'll be talking what models we're working on, what TV shows. We'll talk Guardians of the Galaxies. We've both seen it. So what movies?
Talking about new toy purchases.
Yeah,
right.
Rob's got some new toy purchases. I got some new comic purchases. So it'll be a little bit more sort of.
Bought some new Panathor fiction. We got some in the works. We're going to be doing some. We're going to get back to the narrative stuff. So more to come on that. There's just so much stuff. We're recording an episode that we made a post on the Facebook page maybe 2 weeks ago about what's your favorite event. We're going to be recording an episode this week with Jason Burr, talking that because it was his topic suggestion. So just a shout out to anybody that's got a topic suggestion. Just know that just like if you're going to give me bad news, I'm going to make you give me a solution. If you give me a topic, I'm going to make you write notes and develop the idea out. I'm not just going to be like, yeah, I'll take it and run. No, you do the work and then you come back and then we'll help you take it over the finish line.
Yeah, Rob will water your talent until you grow into a little tree.
Exactly. Yeah. Trent's been Trent, just for those behind the scenes, Trent edited his first podcast. It's not out yet, but he did a pretty good job. I was trying to be like that dick. I was like, oh, I got to give him some constructive feedback. He did a really good job. It was only like a 25-minute clip, but I was like, I don't really have any notes. So it was kind of a weird position to be in because I usually have something.
Watch out, Alex. Trent's almost edited as much content as you. So he's on the he's chasing after you.
Yeah. It's funny. I just got a DM from William Hopp, who owns I forget the name of the company, but he's a small third-party supplier of like metal models, and it's funny like how the world works, like serendipity. I have it on the notes that we want to get him on the show to talk about his company and his range of models because hey, play with what you like at the end of the day. But there's a lot of great stuff out there. I don't know.
I liked your episode with Kenny from Combat Phase.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
that was a
nice episode.
I will say that was a real nightmare. I am a person that likes random digressions. I jump all over the place. and Kenny's even worse than me.
Yeah.
So
the two of you together could
it
have
was
had
a train wreck.
night.
It was a train wreck for editing. But I thought his perspective, not really being a Kings of War player, he sort of plays every maybe a few times a year, right?
Yeah.
And we crossed paths at Adepticon. He was playing in Blake and Kyle Schroed's big game at Adepticon, and he has a huge, now a halfling army, but also an Abyssal Dwarf army. So thought that was interesting. That just his perspective on, hey, because there's also a lot of talk with the old world right now. Like, if you like it, go play it. That's fine. I have no interest in that. I've kind of left the old world setting, and I'm all about Panathor now. But
yeah,
I'm not going to begrudge anybody. I'm not going to. What is your statement about? I'm not going to. What is it? I'm not going to pee in your tea or something. You have some statement like that. What is that?
Oh, I can't remember.
But okay,
yeah, I mean,
all right.
The idea is that we can be like the love of miniature war games doesn't have to be mutually exclusive, right? We can love multiple
Absolutely.
games. It's like you have your main squeeze, and then your mistress, and then your second.
And
mistress,
Kenny's he's in love with everything.
Yes,
literally. And another plug: if you haven't listened to his podcast called The Combat Phase, Kenny has taken Black Library discussion to a whole nother level. I mean, he's had pretty much every author on. By the way, random, I like my random digressions. I did not know until I listened to Forge the Narrative. Yes, I don't play 40K, but I like the show. That Dan Abnett was the progenitor of putting the current incarnation of the Guardians of the Galaxy together. I did not know that. Did you know that?
Yeah,
he's the one that took. He's the one that took all the different people like Groot and Rocket Raccoon and brought them together. In I guess it was called Annihilation in the late 80s.
Yeah, he's done
maybe
some
90s. I don't know.
Timing's
off,
but in the comic world, yeah.
So another shout out to that show, Forge the Narrative. They have an amazing episode.
I heard independent characters are coming back too. I saw. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they're starting to come back.
I love that show.
Yeah, it's another good one.
Carl's amazing. It's just an amazing human being. So.
I mean, at some point, Rob, it would be really cool to do like a miniature wargaming roundtable where maybe we get some hosts from a bunch of different big podcasts, and do like.
I'm glad you think we're big.
Well, I mean, I know. We can make, we'll give them coffee and stuff while they talk, but I mean, it would be cool to have different voices from different game systems all come together.
Well, I think the ones that are successful, regardless of the game system, are the ones that are fairly positive. And
I think so.
Provide some sort of some level of they're doing something for the community, right? They're providing a service. So.
And I think there's a sense of the ones that I like, and it's something that we've tried to do is make your audience feel like they're a part of your gaming group. Those are all the shows that I've always loved, is where you just feel like you're on the wall of buddies hanging out during a paint sesh, talking about whatever you're into, it isn't the size of the podcast that matters. I've been told that many a times from a lovely lady. So from lovely ladies in my life. So I believe that fully.
For those, just to kind of recapture or summarize today. I mean, big announcement. Mantic's doing STL files, and and the way they're doing it, it's economical. I'm super excited about it. I think the future is very bright, and if you haven't gone and seen Cat Royer's meme, you need to on Fanatics. It's great.
Yeah. And just now it's time, like you said, Rob, it's that put our money where our mouth is. So all the people who, have been wanting this, now it's time to show Mantic that we're happy they're listening and subscribe. It's a super
I've got 50 Luggets painted. Maybe they can give me a couple alternate sculpts or maybe some alternate heads. I mean, 5 sculpts are pretty good. Don't get me wrong, but I've got 5 troops and 2 regiments painted. Sure. And I'm like, I could use a little bit more. Hey, and while they're at it, give me some Luggets that are like styled as crew for war engines. I think that would be cool. So,
well, I'm still waiting for our blaster to have an official Mantic release.
You know what's funny is I've never made a Kings of War. I have goblin armies from like the Warhammer days, but I never made an army until now. And now I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to use blaster for? Is he a Lugget? No, he's not. He's not strong enough to be a Lugget. He's not. Yeah. He's got too much charisma to be a Lugget.
I think so.
I got to figure that out. Maybe he couldn't.
Maybe in fact he is the Goblin King, so he is a rival. So put him on a chariot riding around, blowing shit up.
You know what's funny is the original thought was that we would do another sculpt at some point, right, to show his progression in the world. Because we do have I have to post that. We do have a background story that was written for us that talks about where he's come from, and that he's got insane luck because he was manning a Red Goblin blaster and he just never seemed to incinerate himself. So
nice.
yeah. Well, awesome, dude. This is just great stuff.
Yeah, very cool. Super excited.
We're super excited that anybody that could join us. We love doing these kind of things. Keep listening to the podcast. There are so much stuff coming. If you think we had a bunch before, like there's stuff that's like been in the can for like 4 weeks at this point that are maybe not as time sensitive. So we're having to push stuff back. Like this, like the thing that came out today. I mean, we recorded it at Adepticon. That was 6 weeks ago.
Oh my god! But I can't believe it.
There's nothing nothing time sensitive in it. So it's as timely today as it would have been when we recorded it back in March. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's a great time to be a Kings of War player. By the way, another post that I just made on the Facebook page today. Don't know where this is going, but we are doing a narrative event in 2024. 100% full weekend, multi-system, link campaign, link battles, like a campaign growth structure to units and stuff. So just a FYI.
Yeah, that's going to be cool because there isn't an event like that on the calendar. So it's going to be really cool to have one.
So share us what your feedback is on that. We've got a poll, like which games should be included, what you're looking for in an event like that. Trent and I are recording because by the way, Trent is my co-conspirator. He is coming over from Germany to help with it. Mantic's on board. Kyle, President Linksey, first thing I posted, he's like, count me in. So we've got Ben Stoddard. We got a bunch of great people that'll be jumping in and helping. We're gonna do something great.
And I know, Rob, we've talked about doing like a countercharge con or like a countercharge weekend where we run like a bunch of different stuff. So if that sounds like something you guys are interested and want to take part in, where all the hosts are there running separate things and just all
this might and maybe this is the first step in that, right? Like a narrative event, right?
Relaunching a sort of a Mantic con or whatever, but all kind of
Mantic con was one of my favorite events. For those who don't know, it was an event down here in Tennessee ran by the late great Gavin Gossett, and it was the first time I ever won a Kings of War tournament. Was the first Mantic con. So back when ogres were good for the first time,
and the first time siege breakers were OP, and then
didn't have any siege breakers in the list back then. Back then it was all about broke characters where they had unit strength, so you were able to run around and like shenanigans stuff, right? But yeah. So if you're interested in a narrative event, for me, we'll talk about this on the podcast, but the short elevator pitch is that I always go to these events like NashCon, I see the Lord of the Rings event. I'm like, God dang, that looks pretty sweet, right? Like really immersive tables, and it's almost like the table is your second opponent. Like, oh, that's cool. Or you see the Horus Heresy stuff, and I'm like, we need that. I don't know about you. I don't know about you, Jeremy, but I need that in my life. I need that. So, yeah, more to come. You want to take us out?
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Again, if you like these live shows, comment on them on Facebook, watch them, give them likes. Rob and I love doing that. Stay tuned, as Rob said, for tons of great content coming out. Like Rob and I will be recording this Friday, but we have tons of juicy stuff coming out. And then if you have an idea for a show or you think there's something we're not listening, post on it and Rob will make you do it. So,
and we'll definitely be getting Clive on. Clive seems to be like the keeper of Mantic Vault. So we need him to come on and hook us up with some knowledge.
Yeah, we need to start going through all the the secret band members of Mantic.
We mentioned it to Martin.
We got Martin.
But we said we didn't get Martin. We got Martin with Kyle. So we need Martin all by himself.
We do, because we didn't really do his gamer origins.
No one knows about Martin. Martin's the secret hidden talent of Mantic Games, or one of the secret hidden talents. Right? We got Johnny on. We've had a lot of people on.
Sign up for Best of the Rest. Sign up for Best of the Rest.
Good point. Good point. Best of the Rest / Masters. Let's get signed up. Omaha, make it big. Jeremy and I will be here. Sadly, Alex is too cool to come. I don't understand that. Now, Crozier, that's a legitimate excuse. I'm coming from Australia. Yes. Totally get that. But Alex, you could drive. You could totally drive. In fact, I wonder what the distance is from Toronto to Omaha, because Mine is like 16 hours from Memphis to Omaha. It's got to be in that ballpark from Toronto, right? Like,
yeah, and that's a drive that you can do without having to stay. You just wake up super early, and just do it. But sign up. It's going to be a great event. It's going to be a fantastic event held where Bug Eater is held. So there's going to be plenty of room. Everyone's going to have plenty of room to spread out. Let's try to hit those New York Masters numbers where we had between both events 100 plus players. So let's show Steve Hildrew and the UK guys.
That's my dream. Shove it up your bum. No, I wish them the best, but I'm jealous. I'm jealous, right? Like,
let's get 100. Let's get 120 total players. Let's see. We're having a lot of feedback for the Friday night firefight.
I'll be there, and I'll have an army, maybe.
So Kyle and I are gonna. Or sorry. Tyler and I, Kyle and Tyler are my two firefight bros, right? Tyler and I will be there running an event. We're still working on the details, but there will be awards. There will be prizes. It's going to have elements for people who want to get games in and people who are brand new. So stay tuned for more info on that. But yeah. And in the meantime, remember to always keep counter charging. See you guys.
Thanks, everybody.